You're watching the Sporting Time Show with host Doug Thompson. Sponsored by Jewelry Barn and Pawn Shop.
Good evening and welcome into the Sporting Time Show. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Doug Thompson alongside Taryn Johnson. Well, buddy, this is it for you this week.
It is.
You will not be on the show next week.
No, sir. Nor will I the week after, unfortunately.
Now you're pushing it a little bit. Now you're. I know you're not, but for our viewing audience, don't worry, he will be back. But you've got a big wedding date next week.
That's right, Doug.
Next weekend.
One week from right now, I will be married. I will be at the reception after getting married on Saturday. So next Saturday afternoon, April 24th at 2 p.m., I'll be getting married to my lovely fiance, Brittany, up in Chicago, in Illinois. So, yes, sir. So I'll be out for the next 2 weeks for the honeymoon and that sort of thing. But, after that, I'll be coming back. I'll be tan. I won't have to throw on this makeup, this bronzer, Doug. But yeah, yes, sir. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
So let's just take a second. And, 100 years ago when I got married, I can't remember what it was like the week before. As young as I was, probably I wasn't thinking about it a whole lot. But everything good with you? I mean, everything planned out? You don't have any anxiety about your responsibility to get things done?
Yes, sir. Now, with that being said, Doug, my responsibility is like right here, and my fiance's is like way up here. She's handling the vast majority of everything that needs to be planned out. She's just a rock star, superhero like that. But as far as I'm concerned, Doug, I mean, everything that I need to focus on is pretty well set. I know my schedule for next weekend. We had a quiz yesterday about that. My fiance quizzed me on the schedule for the week.
Oh, wow.
I aced it. So, I'm looking good as far as I'm concerned.
So not only are you getting married, but our senior broadcaster, Joe Brunk, and his lovely fiancée, Allie, are getting married the same day.
Yeah, great minds think alike.
Yeah.
That's what I told Joe. I mean, it's fantastic.
So it's like audio, radio, and TV, weekend to get married. But congratulations. I've told you this before.
Doug.
And we will miss you for a couple of weeks. But you got to be back in week 3.
Of course. And I'll send you a postcard. Don't worry. You can show everybody. You can show our lovely viewing audience from Maui.
First of all, you did the tan thing, and I overlooked that. And now, you're back to the Hawaii thing. But it's going to be so beautiful. But anyway, welcome in. And now that we got the wedding stuff out of the way, let's talk a little softball because it has officially started. It started last week. But there are some teams that are red hot, and our two guests today are on teams that are undefeated in softball.
Yeah.
After a big victory over one of the best rivalries in high school softball earlier this week.
Yeah, absolutely, Doug. It's great to see these softball teams, after not really getting a season last year, come out of the gates hot. It's great to see softball and baseball being played regardless. But especially these softball teams in our local viewing area that are coming out of the gates hot, that are playing some really good softball and having great team continuity early is wonderful to see.
Yeah, and let's take a look real quick. Warren East, Coach McKinney loads his schedule up. They play very, very tough. They're 5-3. South Warren Lady Spartans 6-0 with a big 1-0 victory over Warren East. But they're going to see each other many, many more times this season. Franklin Simpson 4-5. However, they've won 3 in a row. Bowling Green 0-4. Slow start for them, but plenty of season left. Greenwood 4-2. They've won 2 in a row. Warren Central 2-3. Clinton County. We always got to talk about Clinton County. They're 3-2, and then Metcalfe County. They are 4-4 on the season.
Yeah. Going back to that South Warren East game real quick, Doug. As a baseball/softball fan, just a fan of the game, you love seeing those 1-0 like pitching duels. There's nothing better, nothing more entertaining. Maybe not for just a sports fans in general, but as a fan of the game of baseball and softball, those 1-0 games are exhilarating.
Oh, it's fantastic, especially against rivalries. But
Absolutely.
Real quick, Lucy Patterson from Warren East, we talk about her almost every week. She's batting .481. Emily Reynolds, .429. Caden Murray, .500 out of Greenwood. A lot of great softball going on, and plenty for you and I to talk about in the weeks to come.
That's hitting the cover off the ball there, Doug.
That is, they'd make millions in the Major League Baseball
right.
if they had that.
Right.
Anyway, let's take a short break. When we come back, we're going to have Kelly Reynolds, the head coach of the South Warren Lady Spartans, join us first, and then Emily in the second segment. We'll be right back. More of the Sporting Times on WNKY NBC 40. Welcome back. My next guest is the head softball coach of the South Warren Lady Spartans, off to a perfect record this season. I want to bring in Kelly Reynolds, the head coach of the Spartans. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It is, honestly, it is great to see you. You are the first interview as far as a head softball coach this year. We didn't get the interview at all last year, and we know why. I got to ask you, we've interviewed basketball coaches and soccer, and they had a season before everything stopped. You didn't. Talk a little bit about what it's been like for you, being able to come back this year and actually have a season.
Yeah, so last year we were able to have one scrimmage game, and that was at McCracken County. And then that next week on March 13th, everything was shut down. And, we were still hopeful, thinking, okay, maybe. Yeah. And then when we finally got shut down for good, it was devastating. This year, when things started back up with the school year, we were at least able to have our middle school season in the fall. So that was kind of nice to get back out on the softball field and kind of get back into the swing of things. And then, around Christmas this year, when KHSAA kind of bumped back basketball some and delayed, and, we were really getting nervous again, thinking what's going to happen. And so far, we've kept our fingers crossed, and we're rolling. And it is the best feeling ever to be back out on that field and playing the game we love and coaching the game I love. It's been great. Yeah,
and whether you have a powerhouse team like you do or a program like South Warren does and Warren East has, it affected all the coaches and players, I think, the same way, just devastated. But your team was really aligned to come back last season and just have another fantastic year.
Yeah, we were. We had a tough group of seniors last year. We lost 5 seniors, and coming back this year, we only have 2 seniors. We really have sort of a young group. We've got 4 juniors right now that start for us on varsity, and then the rest are sophomores and down. We even have a 7th grader who's starting varsity for us right now at second base. But our girls adjusted well. The majority of our girls all play travel ball. So that was huge that they were able to get started back again in the summer and in the fall and play. So it wasn't like when they stepped out on the ball field back in February for the first time, it wasn't like that was their first time in a year. So that part was nice. But our girls have adjusted really well. I feel like throughout our lineup right now, we have 14 girls on varsity this year, which seems kind of low in numbers, but given the circumstances, we're really having to limit a lot of things with numbers and making sure that we're staying social distance as much as we can and following all the guidelines that we can. But our girls have really adjusted well.
Yeah, and to your point, the student athletes, I think, have done a fantastic job just observing what they do and the way that they act and with the face coverings. They've done a great job. But I want to ask you, Coach, over the past 17 years doing the Sporting Times, I've interviewed probably at least a dozen father and son coaching combinations where the fathers, and probably only one mother-daughter. I think it was the Cooks back at Franklin Simpson when they were playing basketball. I got to ask you, what is it like to coach your daughter? Now, Emily's a senior, and she's going to be coming up soon after break, but I know it's extremely special, but it's also a different, relationship. Talk a little bit about that.
for me, it is wonderful. Now, for her, it's probably not always the best.
Well, I'll ask her.
Yeah, but I have really enjoyed being able to coach her in high school. I had told her 4 years ago when I was thinking about taking the position. Her and I had a very good heart-to-heart talk, and I explained to her, I said, like, you have to be on board with this. Like, this has to be okay, and, you have to understand that this is going to be hard for you at times, just like it's going to be hard for me at times. And but she's done a great job. I think that, it's kind of nice at times. She has said to me, thank you. And then at times it's been like, we just don't have conversations on the way home because we just both need some time to take deep breaths and then come back, and talk to each other the next day.
That's great. Well, Coach, thank you very much for joining me. I know you had a really tough schedule this morning, but thank you very much. We'll see you at the Diamond, and thank you again. Welcome back. Well, this young lady is a senior at South Warren High School. Emily Reynolds is having a great season, batting .429. She's also a pitcher and a third baseman. I'd like to welcome you to the show, Emily Reynolds. Emily, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You and I met, and I didn't know that you were Coach's daughter. You were actually working. And we started talking a little bit, and I found out you were a softball player, and I connected the dots. And, so that was kind of fun. But it's at the time that you and I met, we didn't know what the future held for softball. And,
right.
Just kind of talk about the fact that you were a sophomore, you missed your entire junior season, now you're a senior. What has it been like for you, Emily, the past 18 months?
Well, I had a really good sophomore year. And so I was really determined my junior year to come out and, do the best I could. And then, of course, everything got shut down. So, like, that summer, I was playing travel ball a lot. I mean, just hitting in the yard, throwing with my brother, just stuff like that. And then also working as well. And then as soon as, we started practice, which I didn't play basketball this year because I had wrist surgery. And so I'm coming back from a wrist surgery, and now we're playing now. So.
Well, the wrist surgery was successful. I mean, you're batting .429, and you're doing a great job pitching as well. So how important was it for you to stay active, to kind of, work and be outside and do the things that you were saying that you were doing, and just kind of keeping your mind and body busy?
It was very important. And, also, like, in the summer, we were doing, like, D1, all those workouts. So, of course, that was helping a ton. And, if I didn't stay busy, then I don't think I would be as effective as I am right now. So,
take me back to the first game this season, getting ready for that. I mean, what was it like? Were you, was the adrenaline running? Was the excitement at an all-time, high for you, knowing that you're going to be able to put the uniform on and go out and represent your school?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was, like, jumping up and down all day. And I was a little nervous, but I don't think I've ever been as nervous as I was last night. I mean, I was, like, so nervous. But once I got on the mound, it was all fine. But
well, and you're referring to a 1-0 victory over one of the best rivalries in softball right now, Warren East. And what a great game that was. And, of course, you're going to see them again. And probably again and again and again, possibly.
Right.
But just kind of talk a little bit about that win and really your fast start. When we tape the show, you guys are undefeated. Just kind of talk about the fast start and the fact that you do have a young team.
We've had, I think, 5 girls, like, returning that have played on varsity. And all of our younger girls have really, like, stepped up and filled the shoes that we lost from our 5 seniors last year. And I just think that's a big part of everything, because if they weren't stepping up, then, I mean, we would be struggling.
Yeah. Well, it's truly amazing. And talk a little bit about the .429. That is such an amazing batting average. and I think you're 6 or 7 games into the season. You're seeing the ball, but is that just part of the workouts that you've been able to do off season?
For sure. And I've been taking like some hitting lessons back and forth with a couple different people. And, I've been taking a lot from this last one that I've been having. And I mean, it's so effective.
Yeah, obviously now. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No,
it's just like something that I've never done before. And I'm finally, figuring it out.
Well, you're doing very well. We've got about a minute left. Real quickly, you're headed to Campbellsville. You're going to be a Campbellsville Tiger. I asked your mom this question as the head coach of a daughter. What is it like to be the daughter of a head coach and you don't have to hold back?
Well, it's definitely, I feel like a lot of people think, oh, like you get, some priorities, like all this, but I definitely get yelled at the hardest. Car rides home are probably the worst thing in the world after a bad game, but I do appreciate it a lot. The harder she is on me, the harder I want to work. So,
well, it's a special time for sure. And years from now, you'll look back and you two will have, I'm sure, a laugh at a lot of the things that maybe aren't so funny today. But Emily, congratulations. Can't wait to see what the rest of the season holds out for you and your future at Campbellsville University. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All righty, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, Taryn and I wrap things up right here on the Sporting Time Show on WNKY NBC 40. Welcome back. I want to thank Coach Reynolds and Emily Reynolds. As I had mentioned in the interview, Taryn, that over the years I've probably interviewed a dozen or so father-son coaching combinations, player combinations, just a couple of mom and daughter combinations. But Emily was right. She says that people perceive it as maybe they get some passes because their mom or dad is the head coach, but it's just the opposite.
Yeah.
They don't get that at all.
Yeah. I feel like in these situations, Doug, because it is a parent-child relationship, sometimes it's even harder for the child that's being coached by their parent. The parent takes it harder on their own child than they would, just another player.
Well, and I have to laugh because, Emily, I think is 17 or 18, but you're right. At the youth league, the child it could be a little bit different. That's why I don't coach. Yeah. I'd be a terrible coach, and so would my wife. Sorry, Les. But anyway, let's turn our attention to some baseball. And interesting, the 14th District baseball and 15th, Barron County is just having a great season right now, but the 14th District, super competitive. Bowling Green, 6-3 on the season. Warren East, 6-3. Coach Sanford and Coach Eisenberg both have those teams playing very well early. I love that dynamic when you have multiple teams. Greenwood is in that category. South Warren, Warren Central having a slow start this season. But it is going to be interesting as this season progresses as to maybe if there's going to be some separation or if it's just going to be one heck of a postseason.
Yeah, Doug, I'm very intrigued to see as we go down the stretch of this season, and it feels like we are just now like dipping our toe in the water, right?
Oh, yeah.
But as the season goes on, you're right about the separation factor. If these teams that are kind of putting themselves at the top here, these 3 or 4 teams, if they wind up just all knocking each other off, or if one team is able to rise from the pack, it's going to be very intriguing, but you're right, there is some fantastic baseball being played.
When you look at, of course, I think they still do the double headers, playing the same team twice, multiple days. But, I want to call out one of the players on Bowling Green, Eli Burwash. This is a young man. He's just an athlete, right? He's just an athlete, and he's batting .433. But this is the thing about Eli, 11 stolen bases.
Wow.
He loves to steal bases.
Wow.
Tie those things down because he'll take them. But 11 stolen bases in 9 games, right? Having a great season. Nolan Ford, of course, quarterback at Warren East, batting 500 for the Raiders with 16 RBIs. I mean, they're just getting started.
Yeah.
And so you wonder, you know, they've been off a season. He played football. You know, did he go to the batting cage? I mean, he's batting 500.
Yeah, that's insane, Doug. That's insane. And we're it's not like we're through like 2 or 3 games. We're through 10 games already. We're through 10, 11 games in a lot of these instances. Batting 500 in the first third of the season is very impressive. And Eli Burwash is he's the high school Ricky Henderson. I mean, 11 stolen bases in 9 games is absurd.
Yeah, and you know, as an opposing team, you know, you can scout him, but you know what Eli's going to do.
Yeah.
He's gonna steal.
Yeah, if he has that feel, you know, for the opposing pitcher, there's not much you can do about it.
Well, and plus he's got lightning fast speed.
Yeah.
I mean, he is so good. Here's another player over at Barron County. Barron County's having a great season, 6-1 so far. Zach Wassoon, I believe that's how you pronounce it, batting .556. And but here's the other: the team is averaging .476 as an average for the team. Can't wait for the 15th and the 14th to play some of these games.
I'm not sure I've ever heard of that, Doug. For a team collectively to be batting that high through 7 games, that's very, very impressive.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I want to just for our viewing audience, check out the Sporting Times live stream at stfanclub.com or download the Sporting Times app on your Roku or Amazon Fire TV app, and you can watch the baseball games this year on your big screen. We've got Joe Brunk, we've got Brent Thompson. We had 8 or 9 guys at basketball working, bringing you, I think, great action. And I want to thank all of our Sporting Times associates for doing such a good job.
Absolutely. Joe is incredible. Brent Thompson, too, is a very good play-by-play guy.
Yeah,
I love listening to him.
He's really good, but please join us. You're going to see some great baseball and softball this year. We can't wait to bring you all the action. But for Taryn Johnson and I, have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Join us next Saturday, same place, same time. For Doug Thompson, Taryn Johnson, have a fantastic week. Good night.